Hold on. Be right back. Gotta reauthorize something. Oh, fishy's there. I'm here too. Oh, you want to talk about a first world problem? This is probably the biggest first world problem. I cannot believe how much it annoys me. I've had the same chair for about 2 or 3 years. Really like it. I don't even know what the brand is. But just in the last month, it's very slowly started to sink throughout the day. And so about 2 or 3 times a day, I basically have to get up and lift my chair up. Like do the thing on the side there. Like I said, about as first world problems as it gets. All right, give me a chance here to get caught up on something. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. I've got to reauthorize my Streamlabs. And today I was just going to do a fairly short stream. Just talk about a few things, then do some Q&A. I wasn't planning on doing like a 3 or 4 hour stream like I've been doing lately, though. Remember my computer for 30 days. Wait for it. Let's see if that's working yet. Okay, there we go. Now you can do it. Now you can raffle up. Let's see. Just catching up on chat real quick, see if I missed anything. Do I have a special? I actually have a couple like different mount things, but I usually end up, right now I've just got it sitting on top of one of my monitors. That just happens to be about the right distance. And actually I have it zoomed in to catch. Oh, I think you were being snarky that I only capture half my head. I see now. I see what you're doing there. But no, I do not have a special mount to only capture half my head. Hey, Raven Swiftbow. I'm thrilled that you've been able to listen to him too. And we'll do prizes. I'll get in prizes multiple times here. Again, gonna try to keep this to be about an hour-long stream because we're gonna do another stream in 2 days after the release. And thank you very much, HT Genie UK. Thank you. But yeah, just want to get in a quick stream because this is a release stream coming up, and basically all we do is sit there and read. Actually, we basically all I'm going to do. I'm going to be doing the stream on Friday, probably by myself. Ravelox is on the road actually to, I think he's driving to like New York to see Richard. And then I think he's also going to meet up with a few players along the road. And then I think there's actually a player meetup going on in New York City that he's going to be going to. So he'll be going to that, but he's driving all of that stuff. Ehondis knows his route apparently. New Jersey, Pennsylvania, then New York. Oh, hanging out Saturday. Dave and Buster's in Times Square. Wow. Sounds like an adventure. All right, so let's see. And this is the usual time during the stream where I stall a little bit to let some more people pour in if they want to. So if it seemed like this was an insanely short release, because release is tomorrow, that is, if you're new to the stream or if you're new to the game, we do our major releases every Thursday, or the last Thursday of every month. This Thursday, the Pilgrims were very inconsiderate, and when they planned Thanksgiving, they put it on the last Thursday of the month, which is our release date. Obviously, they should have planned around it, but we moved our date to handle that. Next release is also early, so it'll also be a pretty short release. I think it's actually 4 weeks because we moved things up just to avoid Christmas holiday stuff. But because it's 4 weeks and basically we lose a week for Thanksgiving. Most people take off for Thanksgiving. So it's really only like a 3-week release. So it'll be another short one. We are getting some cool stuff done though, even though they are some short releases here around the holidays. And then of course, January is the super long, I think it's 6 weeks or 7 weeks or something crazy release, where we catch up on stuff. But of course, we miss out on holiday stuff. So it really ends up being just kind of a normal release. Oh, let's see. I'm doing my usual thing where I'm sitting in the ugliest scene in the game. You guys have probably never seen this game, though. Look at that. Beautiful. Lovely. Awesome test scene here. This is actually behind the scenes stuff. This is called Decoration Station. It is one of our test scenes that we just use. Basically, we've got boxes full of tons of stuff in here that is, if we ever need to go test anything or test decorations, this is where we'll come and test decorations. So all sorts of things. And then we've thrown most things into boxes. We just kind of dump them all into 1 or 2 boxes now. So we have copies of everything that ever has been added to the game. Oh, I can mention one thing, and thank you very much, NBNN, and also SynAssist for the raid, and thank you, Waldo Ptolemy, for the bits. But this is actually where I've been spending some time testing out a number of things. One of the things is the open lot placement, or open house placement. So this was a test. I actually got ideas on a new way to do something, do the house placement stuff. So basically, the problem with the old houses is trying to get like a dynamic placement form. Insane problems. Tons and tons of rework. So just on a hunch, I've been doing this work for Elgarion to help with more flexible placement of stuff, which is what he's been using for a number of things like floating platforms and the platforms that can sink into the ground. And this is just because we've had to postpone our terraforming stuff and we wanted to make sure we could still do some of those things. But with that tech, I can basically take the more flexible stuff. I can basically take an entire house that is, you know, the house thing that you get with a deed. And rather than assigning the house to the lot, you can place the house as a deco on the lot. The entire house. It works pretty well. There's a couple of issues I still have to work out. I think I shared a screenshot of me doing some, you know, angular placement of the house, like turning it and stuff. But it actually works pretty well. The performance is good on the houses I've tried so far. I've tried a town house. I've not tried anything crazy like Lord of the Isle house or one of the bigger Lord of the Manors, but I'm sure they'll work if we allow those. We'll probably allow this for smaller houses just because it kind of gets tight in there anyways. If you try to do something bigger than like placing a small village house on a city or on a village lot is difficult. There's not too many options for placing it. But the cool thing is you could actually place, if we go that route and we don't block it, you could actually place 2 houses on a single lot. Now that may be something we don't allow. But yeah, you could have, if you have like a big lot that you could place, maybe you can fit like a city lot or city house and then also place another house on it as well. Like maybe if you have a keep, you can place like a normal keep house on there, but then you'll have room for another smaller house as well. So, and yes, I'm sure they'll work. Famous last words. No, I'm well aware. There's 3 or 4 different issues that we have to come up with solving solutions for, one of which is the nav mesh generation for them. That's part of the deal with the houses is we have to basically bake the nav mesh for them. So the thing that'll have to work on this, and this is another reason why it would need to be small, is we would be baking the nav mesh when the house loads. So which can take some time, and it's proportional. As we saw last week, I think going into a dungeon on one of my streams, and it was a good 60 seconds. 90 seconds to get into the scene, and that was because the entire dungeon was baking out, and that was Owsley's massive dungeon. So, but anyways, I don't think it'll be that bad if you consider the size of like a house, as long as we're not talking about like a Lord of the Isle house. There's no reason to make those so you can do flexible placement with them anyways, because they barely fit on a castle lot. So. But for stuff like village houses and those type things, I think this will work pretty well. And so the way it'll probably work, we still don't know for sure, but at least what's been tossed around here is that it'll be like, you'll have a way that you can convert a deed into a deco. So you can convert a house deed into a deco. So we'll have to like hook it up for each one. So there's a chunk of work there to be done for that. The other couple issues to be done are, I've got to go in and update the system for when it decides to load things and render things, because that's one of the things with houses is when you log in the scene, we know all the houses, bam, we load the houses. With this basically houses as decos, it loads them just like it loads decos. So stuff with houses would be popping in rather than being loading at load time. So we already have some of that system in place that's already being used for a few things, like for some vendor stuff and a few other things. So I just need to update it to handle these type decos and create a new type of specific tag for that deco. So again, it should work. It's going to be some work to get it done, and then it'll come online houses, a few houses at a time where we'll have it. Like maybe we'll try and do a pass on all the village houses. So Gwendolyn asks a good question, which is, would it be able to differentiate indoor and outdoor deco stuff? Yes. So in the houses, the way that their deco stuff works is it knows things are indoor or outdoor based on the surface it's placed on. Houses, all their walls, interior walls, are marked as indoor. Anything that's not indoor is considered outdoor. So yes, so you can place a house. My other fear, I'm going to have to either work on ways to make sure it doesn't happen, or we just make kind of the rule of like, hey, don't make it a CS issue. We don't want to have to come and have people have houses stacked on top of houses stacked on top of houses. I don't know how you could get that to happen, but I'm pretty sure you guys have all seen some of the stuff Alphane's done, and he manages to get pretty much anything done. So anything to stick wherever he wants it to. So that's the type of stuff we don't want to have. Is we don't want to come out here and find somebody who's got like a Viking house stacked on top of their elf house, which is stacked on top of their tree house. So if that becomes an issue, we'll probably start, make the rule that pull that crap down, or else we will pull it down for you. And yes, Alphane is the god of finding the broken stuff in deco stuff. But he's an amazing guy. He's not a guy we don't like, by the way. I'm calling him out by name, but I mean that more as a compliment than anything. And we've let them do all the other stuff and other people do the stuff because most of that stuff is fun. But I think it'll become too much of an eyesore if we do the let you stack houses on top of houses on top of houses, or build up like a big platform, then put a house on, on top of a pillar, and then put a pillar on top of that house and a house on top of that pillar. So Dark and Obscuro, probably you will be able to put 2 houses on a lot if they fit. The one I was testing out here was well, let me go. I can probably pull it up for you guys real quick. Do. 1 minute. I'll pull it up and show you what it looks like. Oh, 10 row houses on a keep or city lot. Wow. It could be. Trying to think if we would have issues with that. I don't think we really have. I personally don't have issues with putting more out there. We kind of tend to, each lot size basically has twice the square footage of the one below it. But in general, the prices are close to that as well. So can they be rotated? You will find out in just a second. I've got the play button clicked right now. And now to figure out how I'm going to show this to you, I bet I can do this easier than I can do the other thing. Oh wait, that's gonna cut it down. Let me do... Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. I bet I can get it to work up here. Well, look, I'm in the exact same place. Just like I said, this is where I was testing stuff out for it. Let me get that out of there, and then I think... Pretty sure this is the guy that has it on there. Viking Deco. So again, there's several things to be done. Oh wait, that's the one that's too big for this lot. I did a couple of them. What was the other one called? What was that house? Give me a second. Well, I guess you can actually see just from this. This is one that does not fit on this lot. But this is what it looks like. And you can see the performance is not that bad. And yeah, you can rotate it. And so you'll be able to actually go and place it however you want to, if you can get it to fit on your lot. Again, this one is just entirely too big. Let me find that one for you just so I can demonstrate here. What did I call it? Small village courthouse Viking. There it is. And that's called Rusted Iron Greenhouse. I didn't change the name. Again, this was purely my internal. There we go. So for instance, right there's an example. This is one of the smaller village ones. But basically it'll fit anywhere that it fits in there. So again, this is one of those things that may be something you can use not just for, free placement or whatever, but you want to have your garden at the front or facing this side, you could put the house way over there. And then you leave all this space for like a back garden. I know many of these houses are like very centered in the lot, which, many people don't want a front yard or they don't want a backyard. They just want one big whatever it is. So that would allow it. Owsley, yes. So the lava pool, that's one that I have had a bug on me for a while. I will get that fixed. I didn't feel like it was as critical as some of the other stuff I was working on, and it was a short release, but I'll get that fixed for a patch. That is not Elgarion's fault. He knew about the issue and created an issue for me. But yes, you'll burn yourself up if you try decoing with lava stuff. But I will have a bug out or a fix out for that shortly. That'll probably be I'll call it patch 2. But yeah, so anyways, this is what I was talking about, and this is as simple as that, and then you can come in here. Whoop. Let's see, housing, what do we got in here? And this just decos just like anything else, and it knows which things are inside the house versus outside the house. So again, not promising this is a Christmas present. There's besides the couple of tech problems, I don't think the tech problems are going to be problems after getting this far along. The bigger challenge is there's a lot of data that we have to go in, like for each house type we have to go and create. First, we have to go and take the house type and turn that into a special type do a little modification on the prefab. That doesn't take that long, but then we've got to also go and create the object data entry for it. And then we've got to do some other stuff to make sure, if it was a no trade or a heritage house, that whatever this deco is becomes a heritage. Then we've got to do recipes for that so you have a way to convert it. Because basically what you're going to do is take any old deed and you'll be able to convert that deed into the deco version of the house. Raven Swiftbow. I think the floating lot stuff, I think that may be in this release. Again, that's one that Elgarion has been in charge or has done some cool stuff with. We will see. Yeah, you could easily see that even for like this on a village lot, this is a pretty small village house. I know there's a lot that are a lot bigger, but you could easily make, 2 copies or 2 of these guys. Whoops. Oh, it's got a deco on it. Yeah, but you can easily do a couple of these guys and again, the biggest challenge I think for this, I know the preloading stuff is not going to be a big deal. The biggest challenge is the nav mesh stuff. But that's also one that the only thing that really impacts is if you're using something that needs nav mesh, which will be like pets and those type things. So. But I'm going to try to get that all working. Because yeah, this is just to test. There you go. Again, though, this is a pretty small, it's a village house, but it's a pretty small village house. But in terms of what stuff that opens up for you guys, I think that's pretty awesome. So still at the proof of concept point right now, but I'm 95% certain we're not going to run into any showstopper type issues, and we'll be able to get that for you. So enjoy. Oh, and thank you, Z and Skeggy, and I'm having trouble reading the other ones up there. NBNN, I think, was the next one up there, so back to top. And Nico's Maj CDJ, thank you for the sub. Awesome. And Z again, thank you. Let's see. So that was one thing. I was just showing that future thing coming up. Let me shrink that back down again. Do 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 dun 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 dun. Yeah, and I was actually looking at one of those, I forget what they call it. They've got a couple different versions of them, but the little cameras that basically zoom and keep your head in focus at all times. And I've got some 4K ones. Oh, it looks like some people, are you guys trying to get the hype train going? I think it is, you need to have 5 different events of subs, 100 bits or more from 5 different people in like 2 minutes. A hype train is close, it says. So yeah, so if you guys want a hype train there. Yeah, and I'll definitely give some extra prizes there if you complete a hype train. But let me get on to the other stuff there. Let's see. So, good news. I actually didn't have it on my schedule, but I did a stream on Sunday. Totally unannounced to most people, at least. This was a guild invited me to come talk to them. The Order of Chivalry invited me out, and I went out and talked to those guys and answered some questions for them. And I had a couple things that came up that were things that I said, I will do this thing because it has been on the to-do list forever, but I don't think anyone's prioritized it. One of those is getting you guys some streamer bundles. Hold on. The dog needs help with his bed. Come on, dog. Are you kidding me? Get in your bed. There you go. Hi, Mark and Minnie. They're such beautiful fish. They're 2 of our original fish. Hey, there's somebody's getting in there. South End. I don't think I've seen that name before. And Waldo. And if you're new on the stream, I usually do just in-game or prizes, not in-game. I do prizes that I give away in-game from the raffle that I draw here. So it looks like they're pumping up some extra prizes there. So if you want to jump in on the raffle, exclamation mark raffle. Did no one jump in with a "that's what she said" joke on the defected Zephyr? I would, but due to the stream delay, it will look like I'm late delivering that punchline. So that was up to you guys in the stream to jump in on that. That's what she said. Thor 99. No, this is my only. We have about 20 fish tanks. Yes, that's crazy. I know. No, I do not spend my entire life changing water and that type of stuff. I actually have a pretty good system set up. But this is one of our 150s. This one is the only fish tank in the entire house that has large fish in it. All the rest are smaller fish. But this one is all South American cichlids. It's there's I think 5 Severums, 2 angel castouts who are jerks to other fish, so they ended up in here. 1 waru, 1 earth eater, and 2 electric blue acaras, and 3 doja loaches. Yeah, there's a lot of fish in there. It's actually a little overcrowded, even though it's a 150. And 1 standard plecostomus. Never get a standard plecostomus. Oh, and the way, in case you're wondering why I say it's not much maintenance, I've got like a hose system and timer set up. Like these guys get a water change once a week, but I also, in the garage, I keep a 150-gallon drum of water that has a pump in it. So I basically, before the weekend, I'll just go fill that drum with the water and treat it and let it sit overnight. And then basically draining a tank like this takes about 15 minutes, and I just set a timer. And then I come and put the hose in and hit it, and it actually has a timer that I have on my phone that I can control it. So, and then I've got overflow stuff protection. So it's honestly not that bad. And most of the tanks in the house, because they're small fish, this one gets a once a week water change of 33% or so. The other tanks in the house usually get every other week, and then there's a couple of them that it's like 2 small fish in a 20-gallon tank, and those will get it like once a month. So it's really, maybe 10 minutes of work total, but spread over about 3 hours every other weekend. Not that bad. Fish swimming in game. Me too. But anyways, back to the things I was saying was more important that I didn't get done for a long time, and now I got done before I got distracted because someone wanted me to talk about fish. What? You want me to talk about fish? Let me tell you about my fish. The streamer bundle's done. So this is one of those things that has been on the list of to-dos for somebody. I'm not even sure who, But this morning I was up. I finished the couple of things I had that I considered critical, and I was like, screw it, I'm putting that together because I told him I would. So I put together a streamer bundle. So this will be a bundle that we can give out to people who stream the game. That will be, it's basically just like a supply bundle for those who've already played the game, where it's a sack and you don't know what's in it until you open it. You know what? We don't know what's in it until you open it because that all gets rolled on the server ahead of time. Or rolled on the server the second you open it. So they'll have these bundles to give out, and so they can give out these supply bundles, these streamer bundles. They're different from normal bundles in that they'll have some random junk, because why would you want a supply bundle without a rusty spoon and a wooden plate in it, right? That's the kind of loot you guys are looking for. Actually, there is some stuff in there that's some probably rarer deco stuff that I'm not even sure we have put in the game in some form. So we'll see which ones come up, but there's about 100 and something pieces of, and I will be thanking you all mightily here in just a minute. Man, you guys did the level, was that level 3? Hype. Okay, there we go, level 3 completed. Man, okay, well, great. But so it'll give you a couple pieces of junk if you're lucky. Then it has you will always get one smaller priced Kodo item. Woo! You'll always get one smaller priced Kodo item out of the bag. So these are things that are, I also just looked at a bunch of different stuff in the store and threw in some of them. These are things up to like in the 500 Kodo price range, but most of them are going to be lower than that. Some of them are things like, I think I threw in the alphabet. So you have a chance of just getting a single letter that's like a special, like, obsidian letter or whatever the cool letters you can buy the pack in the stores are. And there's some of those things in there too to help dilute it so it's not too crazy good. But you'll get one of those things guaranteed. You'll get some smaller price things. And there's like other stuff in there like couches and, toilets and other silly stuff that I'm sure you guys are entirely too excited about. And then you have a chance at one or more of the real items in there, which go anywhere from, and that I think those are in about 1 in 20 will get a bigger type item. And the bigger type items can be some of the, the houses. And I think there's deeds in there. And then also up to, there's actually, I think like the biggest stuff, like there's even like airships and some city houses in there as well. So anyways, those are going to be very rare that you will get an airship. Don't get upset if you get a bundle and you do not have an airship in there. Just saying, there's a chance. Insert Jim Carrey meme here. Should put crafted books in that loot table. Ooh, yeah, that's too dangerous. You have not seen some of our CS tickets we've had from books. No, you can do creative stuff in the books. Please do not put snuff porn writings in your books and then scatter them around in the world. Yeah. We know who you are. All right, let's see what other stuff did I have on my list of things to chat with you guys about. Let's see. As of yesterday, I walked Ravelox through the process to make dungeon rooms, to make new dungeon rooms, and how to go grab dungeon rooms. Like pull a dungeon room out of a scene. So I think I went and pulled, there's this room we didn't have that was from maybe Despair? No, Malice. It was from Malice that there was a room in there that was kind of an interesting octagonal room with like an entrance on each side. So I used that one as an example, and I went and made that and turned that into a dungeon room. So first off, before you say, don't let him make any new ones until he fixes the old ones, he's fixing the old ones. There's just a couple of them that are, it's not that many, but he does have a list, and he's got like a pretty good prioritized list that between him and I think Allie's been helping him with some of that stuff too. But they've been going and making, hold on, that's distracting me there. There we go. That's not what I want. There we go. But they've been making a list of all the little bugs. There's some of them that seem like little bugs. Like there's a couple of rooms where the connection is off by like 20 centimeters or something like that. But that is actually huge in terms of how our dungeon stuff works. Because if you have a connection, you put that room in place and you get a connection off that and a connection off that and connection off that, and you're thinking you can build back and reconnect up, you can't. You're not going to be able to do it because it'll be off a little bit and it'll never make those connections. So yes, Owsley, that's the thing that he's looking at. He's going back and fixing the couple that are, Tier 3 hype train. Good job, guys. Man, I'll give out some nice prizes there. Maybe another town lot at the end, in addition to a few other things. But he's going through and he's fixing all those issues before he starts on adding new stuff. Now, one thing he did add was he went and I showed him how to do these add creatures into a room and turn a room from a just a decker room into a room with creatures. So he hooked up the spider room. So that should have spiders starting in this release. Now, I think he didn't get that in until after the gold candidate build was kicked off, because it is actually done, except for the Mac build, which failed and is now building again. Thank you, Unity, for failing for random reasons. So we wouldn't have time to do another one safely. So what we have right now is gold candidate. So that'll be in patch 1. There's some other stuff that'll be coming up in patch 1 I can mention as well, including stalling. Gear scaling is going to be in patch. It's going to be in the initial release. So this is one thing, and this will be a little bit of spoilers for tomorrow or day after tomorrow's stream. But this was something looking at PvPers and what stuff they wanted and what things could also help bring some people to the PvP community and make it feel more skillful. There's a lot of concern over every scene. If you went in there like, okay, well, that guy's like level 140. I'm like level 100. I don't feel like I have a chance. So we already had the skill cap and level cap, but that did not do anything for gear. So this release, we actually added a way if people wanted to have more of this is like a fair fight arena. We added a way that we can set a gear cap, which is your gear does not add to your stats. So any of the masterworks and enchantments on your gear don't show up. Now there's a few exclusions that right now it should be excluding fizzle chance, and also it will exclude carrying capacity. And the reason for that one is that you can imagine you walk into a scene, you lose all your enchantments on your gear, you can no longer carry your gear, and you're now crawling along and you're easy meat. But anyways, this is again just some trial stuff. And since it's trial stuff, we decided we would turn it on for the Obsidian trials so players can go there and feel like they have a chance. It is also turned on for the Arteris Arena scene, which if you haven't been there, I have not been there in a while. Honestly, I need to go check it and look over for some bugs, but it lets you do some team PvP where you can go in and make teams, and there's a good team, bad team, red team, blue team. I forget how we actually call them. But anyways, there's team PvP in there. So yes, Alexander Soda. Yes, the build is 90% of the gear. Now, the 90% of the gear, though, a lot of it is just what type of stuff. Are you wearing cloth, so you can use your cloth? Are you wearing polearm, so you can use your polearm stuff? But yeah, the build is a lot of the gear. That is why we only turn this on for 2 scenes in the entire game that are both kind of sort of real scenes, but kind of more aimed, trial type stuff, as we call the Obsidian trials. So we will see how it goes, but we will probably create a way that we can toggle this on and off for scenes rather than making it. Yeah, that's the idea, is what Vesper said, which is it creates a level playing field is the hope. and with the skill and level caps as well, then you're really talking about a level playing field. And this is something I totally agree. Your gear can define your build, especially what your stats, whether you're going for all magic resist or you're going for a super high attunement. That's one that I want to see how it turns out, because I think that the gear cap is going to limit spellcasters more, because they do rely on a lot of both intelligence and also attunements. Now on the flip side, the other guys are going to be losing their magic resistance, so it might even out, but my guess is that it's going to be really tough on the casters. But again, we're kind of in a trial phase to just try out some of this stuff in a larger scope, and we will be trying it out. And this is the type of feedback. Don't get all angry and say you ruined my build. Instead, go try it out and give me feedback so we can try and adjust this stuff, because the system is set up so that I can do things like all stat gear gets nuked, but we can give you 50% of attunement, or we can actually say gear is only 50% value. So whatever stat it gave you, it'll give you 50% as much when you go into the arena. It's not a 1 or a 0 type thing. So, but that's the type of stuff we're kind of looking for, and really what we're looking for is to make PvP, at least some places of PvP, have the potential to be more fair in terms of very high-end players to newer players. Now we know that's where the skill is really going to come out, so we'll see. So yes, you will be at the level of Sir Peters, I guess. But I have a feeling that some of those guys, if you're someone who does have like crazy good gear set up, you probably know what you're doing in PvP. I have a feeling you're still going to wipe out Sir Peters, but who knows? Defected Zephyr. This will not be turned on for the shard falls. Oh look, I've been doing the horrible streamer thing. Where should I go and just have a nice moving background? Maybe I'll just go to the fall. I don't know if there's anybody in there or not, though. That's one of those, we're going to be working on incentivizing some more stuff in there. I do not have anything ready for patch for the initial release, though. Yeah, there's no mobs in the trials or the arenas. That's the part of the reason why those two were chosen. I'll go to Castle Atos. Castle Atos will have a few more changes to it. Not a ton. I don't know what stuff Sanyo has done for that. He may have added a few more NPCs. I'm not sure what stuff he's touched. Again, this is like a 2-week release. It was pretty much fix bugs and ship again. But we did manage to cram in a bunch of stuff. And thank you very much. Oh, and I'll remember to thank all these people who gave bits. I know there's a handful of you guys dragging everybody up to the third tier of the hype train there. But I see Winfield and Zatiril. I like seeing Zatiri. I like seeing new names. That's a name I haven't seen before. And Selenia Sota. Nice. Let's see, what other stuff is coming along? If you're wondering, on the hilt spiders, that will be in patch 1. And the little baby spiders down there, if you've been to that room, the spider room down there, it's got like a bunch of these baby spiders. Each one of those guys, I think, has a 1 in 200 chance of dropping a blueprint. They keep them in their pockets. They're very small spiders, so it's not often that they can fit them in their pockets. Another one that's coming for patch 1 is pet summons will level roughly 4 times as fast. Now this is for the magic pet summons. I did not touch taming. But magic pet summons, so like summon earth elemental, summon phoenix, those type things, those will level 4 times as fast. Oh, and in case you're wondering, as I see Owsley saying blueprints. The blueprints are what you need to craft that room. If you're new to our game, we have a player dungeon system where you can build your own dungeon. One of the things you can do is you can go out to the world, and we're hooking up different rooms that seem semi-interesting in the world to have blueprints that drop in there. And then the blueprints are one of the crafting. I kind of refer to them as the crafting key It's the key element that will get consumed when you build that room. So going and farming those spiders, adventuring around there, killing stuff around there, you might get a blueprint, and with that blueprint and a bunch of granite and coal, you can build that dungeon room, and then you can take that dungeon room and insert it into your own dungeon. The spider one in particular, that's one that drops that's for that room already drops, but that's the one that they drop the blueprint for the spawned version of that. So yes, and what Vesper said, gathering skills are not capped in any of the scenes, I don't believe. Let's see, just some bug fixes coming up. AFK should work correctly again. Let's see. This is one that came out of the Sunday stream. Apparently we have a menorah in game, which I knew, and it worked in 2018, I believe was the last time it worked. It will work again this year. So everybody out there who has your menorahs, make sure and get your menorahs out. Oh, come here, little monkey. Your hair looks like a homeless child.
I have no idea. But
that's probably insulting to homeless kids, because it's not their fault. They don't have a shower to go to. You do have a shower to go to. Can you get your tongue back in your mouth?
Yeah.
Let's make it quick. I got a stream to do here.
Dad, the angelfish have eggs. I was right. It was a boy.
Wait, in the ram's tank?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
They laid it on the thing we can't take out.
Ugh.
No, not the log. The thing that has the bag on it. Remember? The thing that has the bag. Can we move that?
The thing that has the bag?
Yeah.
On the right-hand side of the tank?
Yeah.
All right, well, I guess they're going to move up to your tank soon. If you heard, we're going to be parents. Those will almost never work out. But we do breed some angelfish at some of our tanks. And speaking of fish stuff, we sell them to our local fish store, our mom and pop fish store. But it sounds like we have 2 girls in our ram's tank, in our 150-gallon tank in the living room. That's just a bunch of small apistos, small cichlids, small South American cichlids, and a couple of angelfish in there. And it turns out one of the angelfish that we thought was a girl is a boy. He's so tiny, though. She's so giant. But anyways, that's going to be another thing I'll have to deal with here. Those will not make it, though. We got to give them their own tank before they'll have a chance. Let's see. Castle Atos will have a buff. I can show you where that'll be in here. I think the buff thing, it'll have a new shrine. Actually, it'll have 2 new shrines. Galantius, I think this was the one we know is a female. The other one is we thought was a female, but they were too small for us to tell. There's a couple ways to tell, but the most obvious is like the bump on the forehead and some other aspect, but really they can be impossible to tell. So almost certainly they didn't change sex. They were just always a boy, and we didn't know because they were too small. But obviously old enough now. Anyways, right in here is where the shrine, this little area got a little cleanup. This is to the left of the main castle area. But right in there's going to be a shrine that will be a simple buff, but it does stack with your other buffs. Which is, I think it gives like +1 strength, +1 health, +1 focus for 3 days per person that's in the scene when you receive the buff. Owsley, you should be able to fish in the moat as of Thursday. But anyway, so this is intended to be a kind of a hub for new players. It's pretty close to where new players come in. And it will be, that buff is in there because, again, we're trying to encourage people in there. And that's one of those things where you can yell at your guildmates, to come over here and help, because it'll be, it'll help everybody's buff, because it's looking at how many people are in the scene. That's one I did not have a good way to test. I tested a little bit. We'll see if it has any bugs. I'll have to fix them in a patch, but I think it's going to work fine. That is on QA right now if anybody wants to go test it. Let's see. What else do we have? You'll be able to, the lava fields will be fishable as lava. The deco lava field things, those will be fishable as lava, even if you have a fishing override in the scene. We got 4 new different creatures in there. I guess I can't summon them in this client. I'm actually playing on the last client so I can connect to live. But there's 4 new creatures. I heard that Liz Rostov went and dropped those guys around in a number of scenes. Raven Swiftbow, right now if you want to get to Castle Atos, you can just send me a whisper. That's the easiest way. Send me a whisper and I'll summon you over here. As of Thursday, though, there will be... Oh, and you need to have a teleport scroll to get out until Thursday. As of Thursday, as of tomorrow morning, this will be live, and there'll be a spot on the map down not too far from Soul Town. So, let's see. All right, I've given you guys enough time to get here. I'll talk about one of the hot topics. So this is one that has been coming up for basically for years as a major problem. There are actually lots in the game that have never been used because some players early on went to capture them to try and resell them for money. So this is something we have not smacked down, but this is something that's going to be changing. Right now, we have an internal plan. It may change, but the current internal plan, I can give you the quick details, which is starting in March. If you see a lot that is being squatted on and they are advertising it for the lot, not the deed or whatever, just like that spot, they're trying to just sell the lot, then report it to CS. We will investigate if we can verify that, 100% sure if we can verify that, then we will schedule a kick for them and kick them off that lot. Now, the reason for this is, one, we have a ton of content. If people want to, RMT stuff, other things, that's fine. When we have a game that is a non-instanced game and people go and squat on some of the best lots, and again, there's lots that have been in game forever and never had anyone on them, even though they're some of the very best lots in the game. But they are blocking content that is actual shared content. If you want to sell your other stuff offline that is not content that is shared by all players, you can do that. The blocking of this, though, is you are basically intentionally blocking content from somebody else and then trying to make them pay to remove it. So we're going to be, that has always been griefing, but we're going to actually make it an actionable griefing thing. So we're not going to do this until March, but the process will basically be, if you know of a lot that has been claimed forever, that someone has, that they are also advertising selling, and you can document that, we can go and we will boot them. Now, when we boot them, we're not just going to go and instantly boot them. What we will do is we will go and, instantly we'll boot them once we verify it, but then we will actually claim that lot. We will make a post in the forum saying lot whatever and wherever has been evicted and is owned by devs. We will then set up, we'll keep a spreadsheet on this. We will add a random number from 0 to 168 that will be what hour we go and boot them at. So we're not going to announce when we are going and removing our own lot that has been placed in that spot. But this is because what we don't want to have is, one person, I'm going to go get them booted and then I'm going to claim it immediately. That's not what this is. This is also not, there's an idle player over here who's been on this lot and is, I want them booted. It's not that. This is for people who are trying to resell the privilege of claiming a lot that's a lot in a special place. So anyways, after 0 to 168 hours after we announce it, we will then go, actually it'll be 1 to 168, but we will then go and we will remove our lot. We will not announce it just because we need to have some random thing in there. We don't want to, have 10 people around, that whole nonsense. So again, this is player content. So the one thing that is indisputable, it makes the game worse, is one of the reasons. I've been handed the game to make the game better. This is something that is a decision that was made long ago that was basically to not act on that, is all it was. So in our terms of service, there's not going to be any specific language for this. But again, this is all we're doing is we're saying this is considered griefing, which is against our terms of service. And this is griefing. You're claiming a lot and trying to, without any intention of using it or playing the game, with just the purpose of, I'm trying to make you pay for me to stop griefing you. So again, this is a really hot topic, I'm sure. I'm sure it is 95% one way versus 5% the other way. But there's going to be some really upset 5%, which is why we're throwing this out there now. That is our current plan. But we will see. Now I'm going to go read some feedback. Hold on, let me see if anyone needs a summon. Nope, looks like you guys are all just teleporting in on your own. E-Hondas, that is one that has not been decided yet if they're trying to sell for Kodos or gold. Now the problem with that is it comes up as, we are shifting. If we just say, it's only RMT that we can't, or that we will evict people for, it's still the exact same problem. It's just a little less frustrating for somebody, because what we're trying to prevent is there are literally some of the absolute best lots in the game that were claimed on the first day that have never been lived in, that have never been used. And these are in towns, some of the most prestigious towns, that basically just large swaths of the game are being blocked from use. Again, I know that some people have said things about you should have design stuff. Well, the change for design, this is one of those situations where if we were to change the design such as to make it so it would stop this problem, it would be super punishing to the rest of the players. We don't want to punish the rest of the players. We want actual game content that is not instanced to be returned so it can actually be used by players. And yeah, 99% is probably better. And yes, what Alexander Soda said is kind of it. We're not taking away their deed. We're not taking away anything they bought. They bought. Now, the one thing, and again, I'll throw this out because I just make sure people know I'm aware of it. The one thing that is true is some of these people, have had their deeds since early on when deeds cost more. So they did pay some extra to have that. So that is true. And that's one of those things that I'm sorry if it's frustrating for people. But again, the game has now been turned over to me to try and make better. This is something that I know will make the game better. It's going to upset a few people. We're going to have to break a few eggs, rip off a few band-aids, whatever. But, we've had to do this a few times along the way. And again, assuming we go through with this plan, which right now I think I have most of the team buy-in on it, it would not go into effect until March. So that also gives people, if you want to, you have one of those and you want to go try to find somebody for it now's the time to do it. Go find somebody for it. Let's see. So basically the idea of lot squatting is what we're looking at fixing. For those who don't know, I've identified at least 100 lots that are people that are lot squatters, that are lots that are super desirable lots in NPC towns that people are not using for play. They only use it because they're trying to get somebody to pay them to leave that lot. So, Sean Butts, why wait until March? Because I do want to give those people a chance to whatever, get rid of the lots, come to terms with it. I don't want to just be like, surprise, tomorrow we're going and doing this things. That is that feels a little rough. But yeah, we're going to wait until we're talking March 1st. I was going to do 90 days, make the official announcement, assuming it all goes through, make the official announcement at the start of December, and then give people 3 months to clear out. It also will give other people a chance to start identifying some of those things. So I also had the question, and this came up internally as well, is if someone says, here's their, the lot that they're trying to sell the lot. And again, when I say sell lot, really what they're trying to do is say that if you pay me X gold, I'll remove my deed from this and you can claim it. But if that gets reported, do we then alert the person and let them know? And the answer to that is no. Once somebody's been done, this is like, we don't give you a 7-day notice or something to stop selling the lot, because then all they're going to do is sit there and squat on, without selling it, just as a FU. So once it's been identified, then it's going to be in kick mode, because that'll also give people who have those lots, if they actually are like, okay, screw it, I'm going to live on the lot. If they want to do that, they can do that. So, but they need to actually live there. How can you block a lot that is not in a pot? That is, you block the lot by you go and you claim it with a deed. And, some of the deeds, if it's a tax-free deed, again, decisions that were made before I was in a decision-making situation, but are totally tax-free deeds that basically are there indefinitely. They may have to log in a character every few months, maybe not even that. And yes, what Owsley said, some of our towns are supposed to be the most important, NPC towns that are supposed to be the coolest are now the lamest, because it's a bunch of, junk lots around there. And this is one of the things, some of that is because player-owned towns have been such an amazing thing that, people are they gravitate towards a handful of well-managed player-owned towns. But the other thing is, if you go to even Al said, hey, guess what? There's one castle lot in the whole town, and it's been squatted on for years. So, as Modi Mool, I do think that Laz and Jack have a few lots. I don't think they have that many lots, though. I think they just have a couple. Hopefully they're not going to be too upset. I'm sure that they hate me anyways. Not aimed at them. It's really just a smaller number of a handful of people who are the real problem causers. And this is also one of those things that was talked about from day one of Shroud, is people basically claiming that they were, all I'm going to do is go and claim lots and try and sell them, and make a profit on them. We never wanted to be a game that people came to try and make real world money off of. That was something that players did and was allowed. And as I think you guys know, as we've moved along, since I've taken over, I've been less lenient about that, and tried to keep people a little more focused on stop trying to make money on the game, play the game. Oh, I see NBNN News there. Do you hate me, NBNN News? Will you find a way to forgive me? I'm giving you 90 days to get out of there. And again, you can talk to me offline if you want to, but not 100% certain, but this is the current plan for things. Yeah, and again, that was Richard may have wanted the RMT stuff. I think some of that was driven by, back then I paid very little attention to the money. Now I have to, because I have to write checks. But yeah, I think there was too much focus on trying to attract an RMT audience early on. I think that's also why the many things in game felt just stupidly overpriced, and I've worked to bring those things down to what feels like more game priced and more realistic pricing. Much to the frustration I know of some older players, but hopefully they understand that, they were funding the game, they got to play the game longer than anyone else. But I don't think RMT should be where we should be looking for, for focusing on RMT. Let's see. And Galantius, that is actually something that several people have said is, why not just get rid of all lots in NPC towns? Honestly, we have considered that, but I just think it would leave the NPC towns too empty. That is one of the reasons why episode 2, we've actually talked about that we're going to have very few NPC or player lots in NPC towns for episode 2 towns as they come online. RMT is real money. Yeah, real money transactions. So there are, if you don't know what I'm talking about, there's a lot of the lots I'm talking about are things that have been squatted on for 3 years, claimed on day 1, and they've been up for sale for some of them as much as, $1,000, $2,000, in the hundreds of dollars, which basically you're going to be paying $2,000 to go and meet this person in game and have them pick up your lot so you can put your lot down. They're just blocking content, so. Yeah. So we're not going to remove the houses, the deeds, or lots in NPC towns. So don't worry about that. Let's see. It is not as big an issue, I think, as some people think, but there are those people who, have had their eye on a lot forever, and it frustrates them that they're going to have to go pay somebody, hundreds of dollars just to claim this lot that's sat vacant forever. But again, this is, if there's RMT stuff going on for selling deeds, house deeds or a certain house or some old pledge reward, we're staying out of that. Just don't do it in game. Don't advertise it in game. Do it on your own website. That's really hard for us to try and enforce, and nearly impossible. But what we're saying is, if you are blocking in-game content that is not, that is shared among everybody, you're blocking content from those people. That's the type of stuff we're trying to wipe out. Again, this has been talked about forever, and this is the best solution we have so far. I don't think there's a good in-game design solution that would solve this problem without punishing other players who are actually, there's some people out there who are just idle, but they know they like their house, they like where it is. They don't get to play much, but they want to keep their house, but they're not trying to sell their lot, let you pay them to leave their lot. So. Let's see. I think I missed something. I'm trying to catch up on conversations here. Maybe I should skip conversations to let you guys talk about it. So again, this was not something that I wanted to come down. I wanted to at least have a dialogue with people. Throw it out there, explain what we would probably be doing, and then let, I'm sure people will talk to me about it, or the conversation will keep coming up. Again, not trying to single out any person here. It's something that up until now has been allowed and just isn't going to be allowed going forward. So. Let's put names up. Quick, call them out. No. So anyways, so even though this is a short release, we got some cool stuff in there. We got, again, Castle Atos will be coming on in a real way, have some buffs in there. There's a second buff that will be over here that will be a crafting buff that will be one that does not leave the zone. That will be a, it's going to be very minor in terms of the crafting it gives. And it'll probably just be on the final item production, but it'll be some small thing that'll help people out. And that's, again, trying to get people, as this is supposed to be a player hub, new players seeing old players craft and talking about crafting and making stuff for people while they're here is something that can definitely happen. We're trying not to make it so that you won't want to craft anywhere but here, which has been the challenge, which is why I've not checked it in. Let's see, and now I guess I can jump over to some actual questions. Again, I knew that that topic I just brought up, the selling of lot squatting, is a very hot item for a lot of people. So, and I already babbled for an hour, and I haven't given away a prize. Let me do like 20 minutes of Q&A, catching up on AskADev stuff. See if I can get us through. Maybe I can get through October. And then I'm going to start doing some raffle stuff. Since I just finished up and I'm about to transition to new stuff, let me do a raffle thing here. Let me see what's on sale. I'll do the big stuff at the end. But for now, I will do let's see. What do you guys think here? Silver Clockwork Armor Pattern Pack. That's one of my favorite ones. Wow, why do we give you 6 of these? That's crazy. How about if we'll do the Silver Clockwork Armor, since we were just talking about crafting. This is one that'll make any piece sell better. You ready? That'll be clockwork. I can find that easy. You guys ready? Okay, I'm going to do the closer raffle, so I'm not going to... I am pretty sure they have training dummies in here. Somebody else may know. My exposure in here has been just going around and testing a few things here and there, and then for events and stuff like that. I do not use training dummies. I know that doesn't shock anyone. Don't reduce the amount? Yeah, I won't reduce the amount. I rarely touch anything in the store. And that's why sometimes it shocks me. That seems like that's a weird one, that I didn't think we sold 6 of each pattern in those things normally. And it's such a cool one too, the Clockwork Armor. Let's see. You guys ready? I'm going to pick winner. I will not be resetting the people entered into it, so you do not have to raffle again. I know you guys will raffle again anyways, but just so you know. Training dummies die too easily. This is good feedback, Zephyr. I will take care of that in patch 1. You guys ready? Here we go. Cool it. You have won. Tular Fairlow apparently does not have the DPS to kill a training dummy. But yes, training dummies do die. Let me know your name, Cool it, and I will get those to you in game. And I will be doing the big stuff at the end. And by big stuff, I'll probably give away like a town, probably like a village house deed, a townhouse deed, and a town deed lot. That is Tular Fairlow. I've never killed one. Now I feel pathetic. That is because you are. No, I'm just kidding. They are really tough. You have to do a ton of damage to them. And what Alexander said is once they die, they stay dead. We should just add like a big pool of blood around them when they die. Have a small midget fall out or something. Woo! All right. So anyways, let me get to some questions here. Hold on, checking up on some chat stuff. Reading. And yes, it does seem Ancient Undead are going to be live for patch patch 0 for the initial release. So I don't know where those are. I did not. I said I was going to put them in Mercury or switch out some of the zombie stuff in Mercury. I actually held off on doing that. There seems to be some very divided opinions on how frustrating those focus draining zombies are. So I went ahead and put that on hold for now. But let me get to AskADev. Jump. All right, let's see. Lore Tab asks, is there anything in the works for Melee that is similar to the attunement shrines? There's not anything in the works for similar to the attunement shrines, but there is balance work in for Melee types. I think that's what you guys really want, is just looking for ways to have balance. But no, I don't know that there's any balance, there's any attunement shrine equivalents, but that is one that having a sword buff, it basically just adds to your base sword skill. I know we have that in a few places, and I believe that's already a stat we can add. So yeah, we probably should come up with one that is, the equivalent to attunement for weapons, for melee stuff, is just adding to that base skill, that your base sword skill, your base polearm skill, your bludgeon, your archery. Adding it to those things will basically make all of your combat in that tree slightly more effective. So hold on, I'll make note of that. That is one of those things that feels unfair, I think, to some people. 1 second, I lost my note stuff. Got too much junk open down here. Let's see, make training dummies tougher. Add plus melee base skill shrines. Check and check. Check and mate. Let's see. Kathy Earnshaw, when will we get the rideable big cats? As soon as we get big cats, which I believe is going to happen sooner rather than later. Again, you will see that in just this one release, we added in some new undead types that are, not just a visual difference from like a skeleton or something, but completely new types that are kind of interesting and have a few interesting things about them as well. So we're actually getting to the point where we can get that stuff done in a release instead of fumble around for 3 releases and then put out something with a bunch of bugs. Let's see. Kathy Earnshaw also asks, can we get paint dye to change the color of our ships, houses, walls, outside walls, etc.? No. This is actually one that we've looked at for a while, and I think Star may have told people that that's something we wanted to do. I will now shake my fist at Star, just like I always used to in the old days. But there's a lot of problems with that, and in terms of eyesore, if you think a house stacked on top of an eyesore is or a house stacked on top of a house is an eyesore, wait until you see a house that is glowing with animated rainbow colors and sparkles coming off of it. I think before we could do that, well, one, it's a lot of work to hook up the house because we have to go in and set a channel texture for each texture we want to be dyed. But in addition to that, we'd probably have to create another system where we can say, okay, well, this can be dyed, but it can only use these dyes, and here's the ones that'll work on it. So we can try and keep it to a reasonable set, rather than people putting out their. You imagine like that obsidian tower, the one that's like the gigantic, super tall black stone thing. Then somebody goes and puts rainbow dye on it. Players leaving the game. Walk in and see that thing. We already have enough of that stuff with the wagon that can be dyed and such. Let's see. Magic Specs. When will we be able to upgrade keep and castle lots again? Can you guys not upgrade keep and castle lots? I thought you could upgrade keep and castle lots. Please tell me you can upgrade keep and castle lots. I thought you could. Anybody? Yes, the Rainbow Kobold Great Hall. That'd be fabulous. Let's see. Owsley asks, can you make small bags dyeable? Yes, I think somebody may already be on that. I'm not going to create a task for it, but I know that is one of those things that since you guys put those around, okay, I'll create a task for it. Hold on. How do I keep losing my task thing? Let's see. Irish Eyes, why doesn't my headless horseman light up like the large one? I have no idea. Halloween has come and gone, though. I am working on old questions, as you can probably tell. Can the market tint be dyeable? Again, speaking of the getting kicked out of your HOA, evicted from a town. Let's see. Owsley, can we have a way to reorder the deck list? That is absolutely one of the most high priority things. It's going to get worked on before the end of the year. It is not in for this release. I'd hope to have at least the toggle, like swap 2 decks thing done for this release. I have not looked to see if Devil Cult took it upon himself to go do anything. He may be out there and giving me evil looks. But yes, that is absolutely one of the highest priority things, is getting the deck reorder list, especially as we now allow more decks for people. Let's see. Can we get a dog sled mount? If not as a mount, how about as a deco pet? Probably not as a mount now, because we've talked about having different things out there, like a magic carpet mount, or, you know, a Segway mount. We wouldn't do a Segway mount, but, you know, stuff that was non-horse-like. And it is going to require some animations, and it's going to take some work and testing and debugging and some, you know, basically different systems to fit people onto stuff so that they work well. If we're talking about all horse-shaped things, you know, quadruped type things where you ride on their back, those all can work off the same animation stuff. So, but dog sled mount would require different animations and some different stuff in there. So again, doable, and we are planning on expanding that system some more. Right now, though, I'm still waiting on Damon, if he's watching the stream, to finish the stuff that's needed for the jump for the mount. You got a Jira? Pretty sure he does. Let's see. Oh, I'm up to October 10th. Let's see. I had Alexander, I think he's in the stream there, ask why fall damage is not absorbed by Shield of Air. Because Shield of Air is already one of the most OP things in the game. So, honestly, that's why. Not because it doesn't make sense, although it doesn't necessarily make a ton of sense, because it's really the impact of the force, but it's not really, you know. It's your body stopping fast is what does the damage, not the Shield of Air blocking it. So you still fall, you still hit things, and your body still stops fast. So, bam! I logicked your question out of existence. Logicked. That's a word with an ED on the end. Crossfire Bug's Eye. I know this is one that somebody already... Oh, that looks like it already got done. Can we have fish lengths also affect fish weight for sorting purposes? Bam, done. Sounds like that was done by Elgarion. I think we already hit some of these. Now we're getting to the point that some have been answered already. Crossfire Bugs Eye wants pet rats. I want pet rats too. We're going to get pet rats. There's got to be good rat models out there. I don't think we need to make our own custom rat model. It's a little rat. Looking. We've got a lot of conversations in here on a lot of these things, so I'm not skipping over your questions. I'm skipping over dev talk about the things. Arthas Dimpleton, would it be possible to buy bank slots by 10 and not only by 100? I've not looked at the numbers on those things. That may be more of a new user problem, but it seems like people want to get them in big numbers. I think that sometimes we have these choices where we have to, we want to keep the UI simple and the interface to the server simple. So we basically just have, you can buy one set of things. Now this is one that in this case, it's at 100 and it sounds like people want 10. For me, this is in like dungeon expansion. Right now it's at 1 and I want 10. So I did not get the dungeon price changes in. I will get those in for one of the first patches, and I'll make a note to remind myself to submit that. So you still have time to go buy with gold if you want to before the price changes, because gold will probably go up and Kodo will probably come down. Kodo, the cost in Kodos will go down, so how many Kodos you have to pay to increase things. Let's see. All right, I'm up to mid-October here. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. Crossfire Bugs, I can ask, can we get the ability to split up our decks in 3 categories with a tab for each category? Combat, crafting, and costumes. Yeah, and that's one of those things. When we created that system, we never anticipated people having that type of split. So it was just really created as a list. And why would you ever need more than, I think, 10 when we started off? But yes, that has definitely become a hot, heavily used things among high-level players. Well, let's see, do I need to jump in on chat? Is there anything going on in there? Drag and drop decks. Yes, that's the real hope, is to get it to be drag and drop decks. Again, I don't think that Devil Cult got anything done on that. That is, he knows about that, and that is one thing on his list. I think this release was short because it's 3 weeks, which really means the last week we're not supposed to be adding new stuff. We're only supposed to be fixing bugs that we feel are safe. The first week is really we're patching the last week. So really this was a 1 week release. So we got some stuff done though. Some good stuff. The best stuff. Let's see. Why doesn't salvaging glassware give any XP? I would have expected to get a small amount. Man, I have no idea on that. Just pasting it over so we can at least keep track of that stuff. I saw there's one, and we already answered these, which I think is Arthas asks if you can get the 4 artifacts from the main quest line as deco items. Done. Done and done. I'm going to jump to the end of the list here and hit some of the latest ones. I've got that part up there marked for how far I got. I will not be ignoring those things, but let me jump and do some of the newer ones. Because I'm realizing a lot of these things are things, because they're from late October, they're actually already happened for November. Please give Shield some aggro boosting stats. Good call, man. Shields is one of those things that, only the hardcore tanks are going to be doing that, but then the hardcore tank switches to a shield and he can hold aggro. He can hold, aggro less. I'm not saying I'm going to do it. I will say that I will go look at it. I thought we already had some shield aggro stuff in there. But having stats in there, we actually switched our how much aggro things generate to be a formula, so we can easily drop in stuff like, a shield or a tactics thing that, increases how much aggro is generated from those things, like increasing a stat that, and then drop that into the shield so the shield can generate more aggro. Shield aggro higher question mark? Alexander points out the 3x3 dungeon room doesn't have a nav mesh. Stones on the wall stick out from applied decos. That is on the list of things for Ravlux. He's going to be fixing it. Dun 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 dun. All right, now I'm well past where I said I'd be since I said I'd do an hour stream today. Let me grab a few more though. Could we have a Kobold snow weather machine for pot, please? Elgarion was surprised we didn't have one. That was from Thoric Amara. Surprised we didn't have one already. So you guys will have one of those soon. Let's see. Eric McGregor. Sorry if this is a repeat feature request. Can we please have the ability to filter teleport destinations? Making favorites would be nice. And yeah, that's another one of those things that, again, that system came on later as we tried to make getting around the world less painful and reduce how many times you have to like zone around, especially for those poor people that we should all say prayer for that are still playing on platter drives rather than on SSDs. Anyone out there who's willing to admit they still play the game on a platter drive? You are a glutton for punishment if you do. Yeah, so we didn't plan on that interface handling, the hundreds of poor Tular, handling the hundreds of locations that were going into it. So yeah, I totally get that it can be painful. It really just we need to go do what we've done for all the other ones, which is just add that little corner text field where you can type in there and filter based on that is the easiest one. Sean Butts, you do not play on floppies. Can the intoxication duration from the drink emote be dropped down since you are not actually drinking anything? That's funny because I have a request to increase that duration, and then I have a request to shorten that duration. So I'm probably going to be going and making it so that can be shorter. And then if you drink whiskey will still make you drunk and give you the screen distortion. I'm going to make that so you come down off of being drunk slower. All right, Submarine Mike, no one wants to hear about your 5-inch floppy. Bam. High school humor at its finest. Doot. Hold on. Owsley has an idea to attract people to Castle Atos and make it a hub for how about having the training dummies give bonus XP to those skills below GM levels. That may be what the other the buff from the crafting shrine is going to do. The one on that stays with you for 3 days. The other shrine on the other side is supposed to be the one that is for crafting. And again, I look for things that are not going to force you to make where, like, well, if I craft my gear anywhere but this scene now, it's going to be inferior to stuff if I'd crafted it there. So I have no choice to craft it there. That's not what we're trying to do. We know a lot of people, it's like you have your basement set up or whatever, and you've got like your chest of the exact stuff you're making. You don't want to be forced to go into this scene to do that. So more likely what the buff will be is something that is basically a, plus 25% XP application when you use a skill. So it's not giving you more experience. It's not letting you make better gear. It's not even increasing your gear creation chance or your success chance or any of that stuff. But you'll have to craft fewer things in that scene. So, for some people, if you're trying to level stuff up, that may still make it, something where you want to be in that scene to craft stuff. But it's not going to force, like the expert crafters out there to now like, great, now I got to move all my operations over to the other scene. They care less about the application of experience. They care about, earning the experience, and they care about the results of the gear, but they don't care about how quickly the experience gets spent on stuff because they know it's going to get spent eventually. I see someone here say, can you make the savage spiders tameable? That was a limp, followed by Alexander saying, make the warp spider tameable. Are those guys not... Do we not have a tier 15? Do we not have a tier 15 equivalent spider? I mean, we should have the tier 15. I know we've got the bear and the boar and the wolf. And okay, well, there you go. Consider it done. I had no idea that you guys did not have a tier 15 spider. Coming up. I will get that spider done and possibly even get it done for one of the early patches here. A tier 15 croc. We have ferocious arachnids. Are those 15s? Warp is T18. You're not going to get a T18 tameable yet. We will probably at some point add a level of tameable stuff above what we have now. But it'll probably come with some more side effects. It'll be more ferocious, but it'll also have more like negative stuff for the person using it. You know, like it might take 20% of the experience that you would have been getting otherwise. Something along those lines. T15 croc. Tameable. All right, let's see. Okay, I'm going to answer one more here, and then I'm going to do some cool drawings. And then I'm going to, if there's anybody out there who's streaming right now, I'll get ready to rate them. And then I'm going to go get ready for the release. It looks like we're still waiting on the Mac OS X client. Oh, shake-fisted OS X, people. It's not OS X. It's not actually their fault. There's a random crash in Unity on builds that is package manager. Package manager failed. It's been in there forever. They fixed in newer versions of Unity, as I've mentioned, and mentioned repeatedly on every stream. We're trying to get to the newer version of Unity, so yes, make sure you've raffled up. Oh, and Andrew Roderick is the in-game name. Andrew Roderick gets the whatever that silver clockwork armor. Patterns, check. All right, you guys are all raffled up. Let's see. Actually, rather than answer one more question, I'll mention one more important thing that I'm working on that's not going to be in for the release, but I'm working on for patches, and it'll probably take, it's not going to get it all done in a patch. This is the way skills were set up. So there's a handful of skills in the game that were set up correctly, and then 70% that were not. Now, most of the time you don't notice this, but there is a certain situation where you notice it. The way skills are supposed to work is if you dodge a skill or you block a skill and stop the majority of it, or parry the skill and block the majority of it, then the sub effects from that skill are not supposed to hit you. Now you can see this actually does work in just a couple of skills, like Firebolt is one of them, where if you dodge, you can dodge a Firebolt, and if you dodge a Firebolt, the dot effect doesn't hit you. The vast majority of skills are not like that. If you dodge them, block them, parry them, whatever, doesn't matter. You're still going to get the full everything else, and that's because of how the skills were set up. We actually have a hierarchy in them, and it looks like most of the creatures were set up wrong, and then a handful of the combat skills for players. So the creatures, what this results in is you can be fighting a boar, and you can parry, block it with your shield, or dodge him, take no damage, and still get stunned. Annoying. That is because those were set up. So that is something that I'm working on. I'm going to have some of those done. There's also a number of player skills. I think like Skewer's one of those where you can completely get missed by the damage, but still get hit by the root and the debuff. And I'm sure there's, as I go through these things, I'm actually writing some code right now to make it easier to fix these things rather than have to hand copy them over. I've done a few of them now that I've hand copied over, but I'm trying to get it so I can do everything, get them all right. So here's one, since this came up, this is one that is List Rostov's been on his why the heck doesn't this work this way list forever. is double tap. If you double tap left, right, forward, backward, the rolls, he really wants those to come with a dodge boost. Basically, if you get the timing right, you know that it basically is a make them miss type thing. So what do other people think about that? Because if we can do that, but it's also one of those things we got to start making that take some focus. Let's see. Yeah, see, I'm like many people out there. Oh, looks like I got an exception I'm going to have to go fix. But I'm like many people out there where I've turned off my double tap roll because there are just too many times where I'd be trying to fight and it's like, oh, double rolled, double tapped, rolled off of a cliff. Me. Okay, well, I'll tell you what, I'll get that in. That's one of those things. I have already got that in a change list. Again, List has begged for this for years, and I'll try to get that in for you guys and make it so it's actually becomes more of a, those double taps become more of a skill for combat guys. That's how you learn to fall in the fall. Yes. See if you can dodge through the platforms on the way down and reach the water is the goal then. And work better in light armor? Yeah. Maybe light armor, heavy armor can determine how much focus it uses. Yeah, that's getting too crazy. All right, guys, I think I'm ready here. Let me see. So I think I'm going to do the giveaways. You know what? We'll give away this village home, the Tower Village Home. That'll be the first thing that goes up there. Tower Village Home. Okay, that'll be prize number 1. We will give away, let's see, what's a cool thing in here? We got any cool pets? Just for the pet people out there, we'll give away a baby clockwork dragon deco pet. Baby copper clockwork dragon. And then we will give away a deed. We'll give away a village deed. A town deed. This is, again, the town deed I'm doing because you guys got to level 3 on the thing. Level 3 on the hype train. We'll do the town deed. And then what's a good town house? I'll give those 2 away so we have one grand prize winner. I like that house. Yeah, here's the obsidian tower one I was saying. Imagine if you could dye that with like a rainbow colored dye. Wouldn't that be awesome? We'll do the Shogun. That's kind of a... I've been giving away this Viking just because I love that Viking. I love the colors of it. Town deed plus Shogun town. Okay, you guys ready? Doot 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 dun 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 dun. I know you're all raffled up. All right, this one is for, the first one up here is for the Tower Village Home. This is that really old school one that was kind of a different style from any of the others out there. Horrible, horrible actual practicality in terms of deco or something. You better have a basement, that's all I'm saying. You better drop your dungeon in there first thing so you actually have some storage room for it. And walls, oh, decoing those round walls, just like in real life, nearly impossible. Okay, and I'm going to draw these one after the other. You do not have to raffle in between. Here we go. First one goes to, click, J Nord RP. And Steel Core, I'm trying to see if you're in there, Steel Core. Who are you, J Nord? Are you just J Nord? I know, lucky guess there. Steel Core, I don't think you're in there. If you want to raffle one more time. Oh, no, you are in there, Steel Core. Never mind. Okay, so the next one is going to... This is for the Baby Copper Clockwork Dragon. Here we go. Bam. Zamiago. Zamiago, you are the big winner of the Clockwork Dragon pet. Baby Copper Clockwork Dragon pet. Stop saying raffle, Zamiago. You won. Tell me your in-game name. Arthas Dimpleton. That's the name I know. Arthas Dimpleton. Oh wait, I put that in the wrong one. All right, so next up we got the Just a Village deed. That is going to Garfunkel Humperdinck. Speak to me, Garfunkel. Let's see. Humperdinck. We'll see if you speak up anytime soon. I don't see you yet. Oh, you AFK prize winner. All right, you guys ready? Here goes the big prize. I'm sure Garfunkel will speak up. If not, I'll search for his name as a username and in-game name. See if I can find him that way. Don't say the word. All right, here you go. You ready? Here comes big winner. Spinock the Great. There's a name I know. Spinock. You've been around forever. I don't know if I've ever called your name as a winner. Are you just Spinock in game, or are you Spinock the Great, or Spinock the Great, all one word? I'll find you either way. And that was, in case you weren't clear, Spinock, that is for a town deed plus a Shogun Town house. So congratulations there, Spinock. Spinock the Great. That's what I thought. Okay. All right, guys, I will be delivering those prizes in like minutes from now, as soon as I get off the stream. Let me see if there's anybody out there who needs to be rated. I have not even looked. Get ready for the echo. Oh, no echo. We got Coswald. Ooh, and then there's also someone, let's see if they're really a newbie or if they're... Hard to see. Let's see, test. You can test. Yeah. 46 followers. There's a strong chance I'm playing one-handed, drinking coffee with my feet up. Well, right now it looks like they're running around playing. It looks like they aren't too crazy OP or too wimpy. So I think they're going to get the raid today. Coswald is out there. Coswald is amazing. Again, I raid Coswald all the time. Or else I'd give him a raise now, so... Wanted to trade Shogun Tower for the Obsidian. Maybe I can help you out there, Spinock, since you're a long timer. All right, let's raid this new person there. Coswald is on. If you want to learn how to play, go watch Coswald. He's also a pretty good streamer in terms of not being like me in that he plays the game and talks and sounds intelligent, rather than going on long, rambling tirades about stuff while staring at a wall. But we are going to go after Inufit because they have 46 users, and we can help them out with their stream, get them all excited. Coswell would be excited too, but anyways, we're gonna give them a raid. Guys, again, tomorrow is a release. Looks like things will be pretty good. We're gonna have a big patch 1 probably with a bunch of stuff coming in on patch 1 just for safety reasons. And but yeah, it should be even though it's short release, gonna have some cool stuff in there. And I think that's probably it. We're gonna be doing our Friday stream. I think it will just be me solo on Friday. Maybe I can get Maxine to join me, but Sanyo may join me. I just know that Elgarion is out of town and Ravlox is going to be out of town. So, all right, guys, I am ready to go get the release done. I'm going to let you guys go. Talk to you later. Be safe out there, and I will get these prizes off immediately. Oh, and bye. I didn't say bye.